many things went on this week. Being sick, being sore, throwing my back out because I'm over 40.
You just, God, you're just
falling
apart.
My boss joked with me the other day. He's like, I think I might have to trade you in for the new model. And I was like, please don't. I need my income.
Hello, and welcome to Basement Faults and Catapults. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
And I'm Trevor.
And here we're going to be looking at games, genres, and the things that we enjoy in gaming.
And this is very special, episode 10.
Yeah, so for episode 10, we're going to switch it up a little bit. Normally, we select 2 games. And one of these are going to be an amazing game. One of these are going to be a bad game. We make the other player play. We alternate who gets the good, who gets the bad, and then we talk about it. But today, go ahead, Trevor.
Well, yeah, so we've decided that every 10 episodes, we're going to kind of take a little bit of a sidestep from our usual pattern and do something a little bit special. And so we do a little bit of talking about what it is we'd like to touch on, what it is we'd like to do, because we are gamers, and there are certain games and genres that are near and dear to our hearts, or games that we really enjoy playing, and it also provides us an opportunity to do highlights if we want to talk about some of the newest games that are out, latest and greatest, and it just kind of helps us to change up the pace a little bit. But we will, next episode, get back to the usual genre.
Absolutely. And, this will run the gamut from games that we adore. We might do a game that, for whatever reason, we bounced off of when we first tried it. We might do multiplayer sessions. We might even bring in guests to talk about game development or game design or things of that nature. It's just episode 10s, so 10/20s, are always kind of going to be something we're going to try to do something that we're interested in.
Yeah, 10 is a pretty interesting milestone because oftentimes, I know for myself, being an ADHDer, I often start a lot of projects, but I rarely get to actually see them through. And this is kind of a project that's been going very well. I've been enjoying it. I procrastinated a little bit on the episode that's releasing on May 3rd, but it is coming out May 3rd.
Yeah. This is going to be out, guys. We promise.
But, it's fun and I enjoy it. And so today I really wanted to focus on a special episode.
A special episode. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so today what we're going to be doing is a focus on survival, because we do love the survival genre. That's kind of how we bonded through survival genres and Stellaris, which was an option for us today. But I think Stellaris might lend itself better to a live play, but we'll see. So we're going to be looking at 2. Raft, which is absolutely one of my favorites, and Planet Crafter, which Trevor is just obsessed with at the moment.
Yeah, I haven't been able to put it down for at least a week. And,
30 plus hours in 1 week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and the Raft, how long have you played Raft for?
Raft, I have 61 hours in.
Oh boy, so I've got 10.8, so you are definitely a Raft expert.
Oh, I got a little more time than you.
Yeah. But before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. And remember, the existential void cannot be filled, but why stop trying?
Yeah. Consume. Consume
into the black hole that is my heart. Yeah, so survival. What are some of your kind of notable survival games? I know we talked about Raft and Planet Crafter. What are some of your other notable survival games that you've really enjoyed?
Well,
over
with
the years?
survival, I mean, we gotta throw it to the OG, or at least the OG for a lot of people, which is Minecraft, right? Minecraft was a lot of people's introduction to that sandbox open world survival.
Yeah.
And this is how far back I go for Minecraft. They had just introduced minecarts.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Right?
I remember the minecart update because I was playing back when you could buy it for $5 on their website.
$5 from Mojang direct.
Yeah, direct from Mojang before it was ever really a thing.
Yeah. It was just a silly little game streamers were playing to an extent. And it grew. And it's what it is now, which is an absolutely a juggernaut in the field. But from Minecraft, I bounced around. I got into a very heavily modded Skyrim. Or no, it was Oblivion that I got into. That was this extremely heavily modded Oblivion, and it was like the whole point of the mod was like, you're not special. That was the name of it. and you weren't the hero. You weren't on these big quests. You were a putz.
Were you playing like Oblivion NPC Simulator or what?
Yeah, pretty much. You were a farmer or something, and you had to upgrade your farming skills, things like that. It was really quite interesting. And then I think after that, there's always a rabbit hole with survival genres, right? There was Raft, there was Valheim, there was V Rising, which is a vampire one. There was Planet Crafters, Satisfactory, Project Osiris, which we'll talk about later if we ever do like a development hell episode.
I don't actually consider Satisfactory survival.
No?
No.
Automation, I suppose, would be closer.
Yeah, it's more automation. Like, it's definitely tagged as survival, but there's not really any real stakes in Satisfactory. There's not a whole lot of struggle. It's more just build more conveyor belts. More spaghetti! You know?
More!
You've got to have the spaghetti. So yeah, no, that's great. I also love the survival genre. It's probably the genre I own the most games in. Lately, I've been playing. I play Pal World on Sunday nights. I used to play a lot of Stellaris and Valheim on Sunday nights with a buddy of mine. But we're doing more Pal World lately because it's a little more accessible. We're playing with my wife and my brother, and we're kind of having some fun with that. Nightingale, I've put a lot of hours into Nightingale, and I'm kind of taking a little break from it now just because it's getting a little grindy up in the late stages, in the end game stages.
Yeah.
But I will go back to it because I have plans.
I have such plans.
Such plans. Subnautica is by far one of my all-time favorites because it kind of has some mystery and some story to it, but I could literally just put on my VR headset and just like sit in my little underwater base and just watch the fishes float by. It is quite relaxing, but I also love scuba diving. So, I mean, I like being underwater, so it kind of gives me that sense. Colony Survival, you played the other day. That was kind of a fun one for me. Valheim, obviously, man, I've played that thing every time a new update comes out, and Ashlands is available now. So I want to get back to Valheim.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get back to that eventually here.
I've been meaning to get back onto Valheim. What I want to do is start like a new, start from scratch. But God, the grind from, I guess, copper to iron is very real.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're first fighting Bone Mass, the big slime.
Yeah, that first go through is tough. You got to get the Frostner.
Yeah.
Hammer so that you can do the ice damage. Really effective.
Yeah, and remember, sharp weapons do nothing.
Yeah,
it must be blunt.
You can't kill goo with sharp weapons.
Yeah. The Ent was surprisingly easy when you used fire arrows. You just
Yeah, the Ent is actually probably one of the easiest boss battles. It's if you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time, it's tough. But I also loved the Forest. The Forest was really good.
Forest was really cool.
7 Days to Die is one of my all-time favorites as well. I played a lot of Rust for a long time when it was kind of a brand new
Rust game. Always intrigued me, but I hate playing with unregulated people.
Griefers. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it was just ugh. Like the idea of like joining a server and being like, "Oh, I start with sticks," and meanwhile you're two miles down the road, there's a guy with an AK-47 who's now hunting you for sport.
Yeah, I played Rust for a while, and I was playing Rust, and I was walking around going, "Hello," because it has like
proximity voice
proximity
chat.
Mic, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, which is kind of cool. And I was walking around going, "Hello, is anyone there?" And then this guy comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, man," and I was like, "Hey," and he's like, "Hey, do you want to like join our base?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I went and joined their base, and then we started fighting a bunch of guys, and he and I are still friends as of this day.
To this day, amazing.
We've taken trips together. We visited each other, in the States where he lives and up here where I live. And
my experience was less wholesome.
Yeah.
I came across a guy, and he was like, "Hey, man, I got food. I can give you some starter gear." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And he brings me into his little base, and then he murders me.
Yeah. That sounds about right. That's very much like Rust. Actually, it was very interesting. and serendipitous that I met this good friend of mine through Rust. It was not a place you'd expect to be making friends, to be honest. Yeah, there's not a lot of other survival games. Dying Light. Dying Light's actually pretty fun. I really enjoy that as well. Space Engineers. I would definitely call that a survival game. But actually, one of my favorite survival games that's really, really hard. That is a it is a kind of a really complicated engineering challenge type survival game in space. I'm trying to find it here. It is multiplayer. Oh my gosh, and it's so hard. You have to like understand wiring circuits and stuff and logic circuits. Yeah, it's not a game that's probably going to do super well in the long run.
Yeah, there is a group of people that this is who it's for.
I mean, I'm that people.
I'm that people.
I'm that people.
I'm people.
Trying to find the name of it here. Give me 1 second. It's funny because there's so many games that I've bought and I just can never remember.
Yeah, I was looking at my libraries, like between Steam and GOG. I think I have like 300 plus games.
Wow. I'm just gonna search for space. Is it Stationeers? Stationeers. I'm gonna have to play Stationeers with you one of these days, just so you can see how brutal a survival game is. This basically, you land on essentially a planet or the moon or wherever you choose to be, and there's no air. So the first thing you have to do is build a habitat. Get it pressurized.
Okay.
Create an airlock.
All right.
And set it up so that the airlock can cycle air out of and into the airlock. And you have to set up the ducting and the electrical. And then to do that, you need power. So you need solar panels. You initially just get fixed mount solar panels, so they only get sunlight 30% of the day. So you have batteries that you need to recharge because your suit needs batteries or you die.
Yeah. Right.
You have a starter oxygen tank. And once you run out of oxygen, you die. Now, one of my methods for early game, if you're not playing hardcore mode, is to just continuously die.
Oh, and then just harvest the body?
You can harvest the oxygen off of the other bodies or the suits or the batteries. But if you're playing like a hardcore where you're like one death and you're done,
that's it.
Man, it's hard because you have limited food. You also have to grow food. You have to recycle the water from the air.
I hate it.
I hate it. Oh, it is so hard. You have to then build a smelter, and you have to make sure, like, you want to reuse the heat from the smelter so you're not losing it, but the air is toxic from what it exhausts. So you
have to run it through a separate HVAC.
You have to create HVACs and air filters, and it is so tedious.
You love it.
I've played for 47.9 hours. So
damn, yeah, that is a mark.
But every time I play it, I have to like Google.
You have to relearn.
How do I build the circuit that allows the solar panel to auto tilt into the sun and things like that?
What? It doesn't.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you need to look up how to do stuff.
Like there's an element of that I appreciate, but if you're getting too into the nitty gritty like that, it stops being fun for me.
Yeah.
And that's.
So, oddly enough, we're talking about playing Raft and the Planet Crafter, and the Planet Crafter has the word raft in craft. So, we got 2 Raft games.
We're crafting and rafting.
So, tell me about the Raft.
Raft. Let's talk about Raft. Absolutely stellar game for me. The premise is pretty simple. You're starting off on a little 2x2 raft. And as you sort of explore the world and the storyline, you come to realize that you're like a survivor who's been sent out to find the solution to the problem of gross global warming. Islands are mounted, like the islands you come across are all mountaintops. The world has been essentially lost. And you're trying to find hints from the past to build a better future. You come across relics of a bygone age, and more importantly, one of the big story beats is you come across a massive floating city that was built for the global elite. and how that even in the end, well, especially that in the end failed, and the only enduring population is the community of people, which is important. So it's fairly standard survival trope. Get things to build better things, to build better things, to get better things.
Is this Waterworld, the video game?
Waterworld, the video game. A Kevin Costner classic that no one really appreciates nowadays. Yes, it is Waterworld, the video game, without the gas, without the gasoline.
You know, they still have the Waterworld stunt show at Universal.
It's an amazing stunt show.
Yeah.
It's so good.
They had it at Universal Japan, too.
No way.
Yeah, and I was just like, Waterworld is not, by any stretch, a masterpiece. But the work that went into making the movie and the work that went into creating this water world, as it were, was really good. And the acting, I felt, was quite good.
Yeah. It was a little too ambitious for its time.
Half an hour. That creepy dude. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was very ambitious for its time.
It was good. Very expensive to make, I imagine.
Yeah, I think it... Oh, what was the budget on it?
Let's guess on budgets. I'm going to say...
Let's play budget game.
Back then, $28 million. All
right, Waterworld, 1995.
$175 million US budget.
But it made 260 back, so like it arguably is a success.
Yeah, it's successful.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So we're playing Waterworld, the game. This is Raft. I've only played for about 8 hours. I got pretty good at killing sharks.
Well, that's crazy. Did you know Kevin Costner personally invested $22 million of his own money into the film?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's when you invest your own money into a film, you really believe in something.
Yeah, right?
And the fact that it still has a show at Universal really tells you it's... It was definitely an amazing spectacle.
It was a good... I think it was a little overly ambitious.
My favorite scene is the part where the guy drops the flare down the oil well.
Right.
And the old dude that's in the boat is like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Because it blows up and he's finally free. He was the guy that would sit at the bottom and tell them what level it was at.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Good times.
Good times. What was another Kevin Costner movie that was just like a lot?
Robin Hood.
I liked Robin Hood, but yeah, it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had another one where The Postman.
Oh yeah, the Postman one, that was good. Then he did Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves was huge.
Yeah, and
excuse me.
Field of Dreams.
Oh, I remember Field of Dreams.
Classic.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come. And you know what? To all game developers out there, if you build it, we will play it.
We will play it.
We will play it eventually.
You may not want us to play it. We will play it.
We will play your game.
Jack Black was in Waterworld.
What? Oh, yeah, you're right. I think he was one of the traders.
He was the plane pilot.
Yeah.
The smoker plane pilot.
Yeah, that's funny. God, man, it's so crazy to see, all the actors that we love today and all the little roles that they've had over time.
I mean, yeah, I knew Dennis Hopper was the bad guy. Who else is in here that's like, oh, this dude? No one else I really recognize, which is a shame. But more of a shame that I don't, because these are people who've worked in some amazing films. Like, I know the name Michael Jeter, but I couldn't tell you anything he's been in.
Fair enough.
Other than he was old Gregor in Waterworld, the old man who goes, oh my god.
So Raft throws you and your friends into an epic oceanic adventure. Alone or together, players battle to survive a perilous voyage across a vast sea. Gather debris, scavenge reefs, and build your own floating home. But be wary of the man-eating sharks. Sounds fun.
All right.
By Red Beat Interactive.
I've created the world. It is called Basement. Oh, I could probably just invite you as soon as you get your together.
Oh, yeah. I guess I should get my game installed here.
Oh, you didn't get your game installed. That was really quite funny.
How's that sale doing?
I haven't binged it yet because we need to build our
We need to choose our heading.
our receiver and stuff, which
The radio transmitter.
we need, I believe, a research table, which needs a lot of planks.
We need a transmitter.
Yeah, we need a lot of planks to research it.
I'm at 31 planks right now.
Oh, okay. Build a research table.
I'm making sure we fill up the thing though.
Yes, always replenish.
Yeah, the food comes first. Research table.
Should be in like the top tools.
Yeah, we didn't have enough clay, did we, from the last run?
Yeah.
Bruce
And on that
didn't
note,
stay dead long enough.
Bruce did not stay dead long enough. On
That's
that
it.
note, my
That's
friends,
our little raft, hey?
we had our little raft moment.
Our little raft.
Save world exit. Yes.
All right.
Okay, well, raft. Let's talk about raft for a hot minute.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna just exit. Exited. All right, man.
Let's
talk raft.
Let's talk raft.
Yeah. So,
I love raft. Like, I'll preface that right away. I loved raft. I still love it. I'll play it a million more times.
I think what really gets my ADHD brain loving a game like survival is that it's like the next thing, the next thing. Where you just like, but just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. I can do the next thing, unlock the next thing, build the next thing.
Yeah.
It's addictive.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, survival games are dangerous.
It's an addictive game loop.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah, I remember my raft. I had a pretty solidly big raft when I was playing, but I was playing before the game was finished. There wasn't actually like anything to do in the game yet. There was no end game. There was no big city. It was still very early access. I guess that's the downside of buying a game in early access is if you get bored of it before the game is complete, you never really get to play it the way it was meant to be played.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, the raft is definitely a game that I would love to play through and build a world and try to get to the end of. Build a giant floating,
just the giant. I almost always try to build like an arc kind of thing. So I'll you'll start off with this guy, and then we didn't really experiment too much, but there is angled planks. So you can get like that superstructure, that streamlined shape to the boat. And then I'll build on top of that using walls and pillars. And eventually I'll go first floor will just be like storage, and then second floor will be like the workspace. And then the top deck, I'll have a small half cabin. And in that half cabin, I'll have like, because you unlock rudders and you unlock steering wheels. And
you can sleep in a bed too, right? And that
you
passes
can.
nighttime.
That,
and then you wake up in the day.
Passes night.
But
so
you do get thirsty and hungry if you do that, right?
I don't believe it increases your timers. I think it just sets the clock to day.
Okay, cool.
But in a multiplayer server, both of us have to be in a bed.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. That's pretty standard for most games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Valheim's. I think Valheim is... Yeah, everybody has to be asleep. Pal World, everybody has to be asleep. There's some games where just 50% need to be asleep. I think Valheim is just 50%. I can't remember. Could be wrong. No, it is everybody.
Okay,
all right,
so
man.
Game 2 today is Planet Crafter.
Planet Crafter.
And this is your baby, so you walk me through it.
All right, well, Planet Crafter, I bought about a week and a half ago. Planet Crafter is a survival game where you're basically a criminal. You've been sentenced to go and terraform a planet. You either live or die, and that's kind of your job now is to go terraform this planet. It's introduced as a space survival, open world terraforming crafting game designed for 1 to 10 players. Alter the ecosystem of an inhospitable planet to render it habitable for humanity. Survive, gather resources, and build your base. Although it says build you base.
Build you base.
There's a typo in there.
Guys, always hire a writer.
Just remember, all you base are belong to us, right?
All your base are belong to us. Oh!
So then generate oxygen, warmth, and pressure to create a brand new biosphere. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, you basically get to build an entire base, craft the planet, change it into a livable ecosystem, get oxygen, and yeah, it's an addictive game loop. It's an addictive grind. You just kind of go, and yeah, I haven't been able to put it down. I think it's great. Someone describes it here as all the fun of Subnautica without the horrors of the deep jump scaring you. But yeah, a lot of fun. Fairly basic survival sim, well fleshed out, good game mechanics. I really blown away with how the game map changes over time, how it slowly gets modified and changes, and you see the subtle changes and then bigger changes and bigger changes. Eventually the whole planet looks
blue,
crazily different than when you got there. So I think it's really fun. I'm about 31.3 hours into my
How many hours
game
do
time.
I have total?
You're
I
at
have 20 hours.
Yeah, you're at 20 hours.
21.6.
I looked at your Steam library link on your profile page and I was like 20 hours. And then I looked at mine and I went 31 and I went, oh, I am not proud of that. But yeah, so why don't we get into some Planet Crafter and then we can talk about...
Let's do it.
Talk about our love for it.
All right, you host this time.
I will host. And I was saying, the thing about this game is that it loads so quickly.
It does.
Save games load fast. The game loads fast. There's like no load time. I don't know how they cheated the system, but they need to...
they magic.
They need to teach other people how to tap into this magic. All right, so the name is going to be...
You have to send me an invite code. That's...
Basement Faults.
Basement Faults.
Game mode is going to be, let's see, intense. Every item in your inventory gets destroyed when you die.
I mean, other than, I think it just makes your bars go down faster. So I think standard.
I think, yeah. Are you sure you don't want to do intense?
We
got 20 hours.
I got to. It's standard or intense. I'll leave it up to you.
Okay, I think we should do intense. Every item in your inventory gets destroyed when you die. Oxygen, health, and water decrease a bit faster. But I don't want to play hardcore. I don't want my save file completely deleted when we die.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
That's a little too harsh.
Okay.
For my liking. So that vitals depletion. Oh, it's only like 20% faster.
Then whatever.
That's not bad.
That's nothing.
Terraformation multiplier factor is 1.5. If I play on standard, oh, I see. Okay. That's actually pretty cool. We're not free build. Oh, drone. Oh, you can unlock drones right from the beginning. That's sweet.
Well, that's an interesting
I was actually thinking to myself, like, unlocking drones at the beginning would make the game so much faster if you're doing like another playthrough, like a hardcore playthrough with drones unlocked would be all right. Yeah, let's do... Oh, randomized wars. That would be harsh.
All
right, create. And then I think I have to load it and then give you the code.
I think that is correct. Try Shift Tab and see if you can just just invite me.
Invite to game.
Straight out.
Let's click the friends link. Invite to watch. I don't think it's fully loaded yet. All right, let's try now. Invite to play. No. Where? How do I get the game code?
Hit escape maybe.
Where is the game code? Invite friends.
Oh, that's me. I'm a friend.
Ah, you should have an invite.
Oh, there it is. Play game. You accepted an invitation to play the Planet Crafter.
Nice.
Hey!
We are live.
We are.
Here we are live on the red planet.
We're in. Okay.
To die.
Do you want to? I mean, we both need to build our own like individual shite for a little bit.
Yes.
But once we start getting to the point where we're exploring, do you want to like divvy up?
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to divvy up tasks.
I mean, depending on how far we get.
Don't forget, you need 2 cobalts to make an oxygen. And ice for water.
Yep.
I try to keep 3 of each. Well, I don't have a big enough backpack for 3 of each right now, but...
don't forget there is that lovely little storage chest as well, which has nothing in it. Amazing. All right,
that's helpful.
I'm going to drink this.
And you can, if you didn't know, you can hold down Control to craft faster. Control, click, click, click. So you can craft much more quickly. Oh, there's food in there. Look at that.
I need iron. Gosh darn it.
We're going to need the food.
Let's move on. Planet Crafter.
Yeah, Planet Crafter. and Raft. So
today for episode 10, we decided to dive into one of our favorite genres, which is survival, sandbox, base building. And we played 2 games that we're both extreme fans of. Which is a departure from our usual format. One of us gets a bad game, one of it gets a good game. But we wanted to celebrate, what makes us love gaming as much as it does.
Yeah, and I've been playing the heck out of Planet Crafters.
He really has. Oh boy.
So this is a very timely and relevant topic for me.
Yeah, so thank you all, and let's quickly do some feedback on Planet Crafter.
What do you like about it? What do you not like about it?
I love the formula. Like, I love this idea of, like, here you are in the middle of nowhere, a dead planet, and you've got to bring life to it. And all you have is your magical space crafter gun.
Yeah.
And away you go. And I love that. And we didn't really get to experience it, but as the game progresses, the world really does change. First, the sky turns blue. Then you start seeing clouds. And then you start getting water to fall. And then plants start growing. And it becomes this huge thing. And it's really cool to see the game or the world change in that state.
Yeah.
I played, it's out of early access now, but I played it pretty much only in early access. So your Raft experience, right?
Yeah, actually Planet Crafter came out, 2 years ago in early access.
Yep.
And I didn't get into it until last week.
Yeah, out of early access.
Yeah, now that it's version 1.0, because I'm kind of trying not to buy too many early access games because I've been bitten too many times.
I've been burnt before, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a burn victim at this point. But no, Planet Crafter, I think it's been great. I'm glad I waited till it was out of early access.
To that, I wish I had, because that early grind is a little grindy.
Yeah.
But once you're into tier 2, tier 3 stuff, it's so cool.
Yeah, like we got into tier 2, tier 3 within like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, tier 2.
Well, tier 2. Tier 2.
We really hadn't unlocked any. And we had only really unlocked tier 2 equipment. Right? We hadn't unlocked the tier 2 heaters or the tier 2 power production or anything like that.
Right. Although at the rate we're spamming things, we probably will pretty quick. Because
Planet Crafter, don't hoard. Slap it all down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't I'll wait till tier 2. No, spam tier 1 as much as you can. You can just deconstruct it, get all your resources back.
Which will let you upgrade it into tier 2.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I kind of regret about my first playthrough is I did not spam tier 1. I just kind of sat on the tier 1 stuff, and I adventured and I went around and I looked at things and, went on the wreck dives and really explored the map quite well.
Yeah.
But 31 hours, I probably could have beat the game by now if I'd have just spammed tier 1 stuff, right?
Yeah. And then once you get into tier 2, tier 3, it's okay, it's really expensive, but one tier 3 is 40 tier 1.
Yeah, and I'm tier 4, tier 5 right now in my game, and I've got unlimited resources at this point. Yeah. I don't even have to go resource gathering anymore. They just come to me.
Yeah, because you have your
drones,
systems and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I might do my next playthrough. I'm probably going to enable drones right out of the beginning, right out of the gate.
Oh. Yeah, I could see why.
Yeah, I just feel like it would make things a little bit easier,
a little smoother.
Yeah. Or playing multiplayer. I think this is a game I would love to. If you're just bored one night and you're unable to sleep. Just be hey bro, are you up? And if I am, hey, let's
send you what's up, or you up text.
you up. You'll see me online on Steam.
9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10. But yeah, so what do you think? What do you think about Planet Crafter as far as your would you recommend it to people?
Oh, 100%. Especially if you're into the sort of start with nothing, build something genres, like those survival sandbox games.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing. And it has enough. It's similar enough to other games that you're not having to relearn everything.
Yeah.
right? We juggle your health, your thirst, your oxygen. We've all done that before, right?
Subnautica did it better.
Subnautica did it. Subnautica did it best for that.
The thing is, Subnautica is like a 10 out of 10 graphically.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful game.
Beautiful.
Whereas I think, Planet Crafter, just to kind of delve into some ratings here, its graphics are, like, for me, a 7 out of 10 is like, it's good enough.
It's good.
It's good
it's
enough.
Good.
Planet Crafter, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10 because I think what they do with the environment and the ever-changing environment.
That is so cool.
It's so cool, and the different flora and fauna and like the details of the reefs starting to develop in the lakes and in the water bodies and stuff. I think I want to give it more, but the graphics are a little bit
chunky.
They're chunky and they're a little unrefined, but it doesn't bother me at all. That's why I said 7.5. It's a little above just good.
Yeah.
And it's not Subnautica.
100%,
It's not beautiful, but it is quite graphically pleasing.
It is. I love it. It's just gorgeous, Subnautica. But we're not talking about Subnautica today. We're talking about Planet Crafter.
Planet Crafter.
And for me, I would go. And is this a graphics issue or is this a physics issue? But I would go with a 6.5.
Fair enough.
For a lot of the same reasons you did, but my biggest gripe is when you create this thing, I can build a base, but the landscape interferes with the base. Like if I build this chunk here, a tree will appear in it, and I don't want the tree there. I want the base there. So
I think they should have made building platforms under your base mandatory. That would have, I think, resolved the issues, because building your like habitat kind of where just a corner of it is on the ground and the rest is floating. Yeah, it
ruins the immersion for a lot of people.
Ruins the immersion. It ruins the idea that this is a base, like, the base is being held up regardless of gravity by just the corner of the base. Mm-hmm. So I think they should have required some kind of platforms underneath them, or make it easy. And they have platforms already.
Yeah, they come, and it, like Subnautica did that again, because if you place something, the moon pool comes to mind. Yeah. It would build the struts.
Builds the struts, yeah.
To wherever it could, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was, in programming, we often say you have to get it to a good enough state where it's ready for release. You can put it out there. Yeah, I feel like they got it to good enough, and then they kind of went, it's good enough.
Good enough.
We could keep tinkering with it and playing with it and changing the dynamics of it. We'll never release this game if we do that. So I'm happy with what they did.
No, I don't want to sound like I'm saying this is a stupid game. They never. It is really good. That is my one small gripe.
Yeah.
Everything else is beautiful. They did a lot of really neat tricks to keep things smooth. Because you could theoretically have 30 bases, because it doesn't really matter where anything is. Everything's on a global grid, right? So you could have 10 bases with 100 moving parts over here and another base over there with, even more, and that could really clog the system down. Yeah. So they did some really clever tricks to make sure that didn't happen, and I appreciate that tons. So for me, the gameplay is easily an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. For me, I put the gameplay at a 9 out of 10. I'm about to sneeze. I'm trying to hold back the sneeze here.
Achoo!
So I put the gameplay at a 9 out of 10. For me, I love pretty much every game mechanic that they've included and incorporated in the game. One kind of janky thing is where like the drones can just like, rather than them making the drones have to go out of your base doors and path, they basically just were like, drones can just kind of dematerialize and go through walls and buildings and structures and players. And
fun.
I mean, it's a nice way of implementing drones without having to, spend a ton of time on pathing. Yeah. Pathing AIs suck.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm doing a pathing AI for my game right now, and I hate it.
One of my favorite developer conversations was one of the developers from the original Baldur's Gate 2 would talk about pathing, and he would be like, just the sheer idiocy. Like, you would have programmers at 2 a.m. in the morning screaming at their monitors going, why did you go that way?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've tried like weighted grid systems, and I've tried just like pathing and making it so that if it hits something, it just kind of like goes along the edge of it until it comes off the other end. And I don't know, there's no good solution to pathing in video games. I feel like it's tedious and CPU intensive regardless of what you do. When I look at like Factorio, a 2D overhead, their drones don't have to do any pathing. They just go direct to where they're going.
Yeah, because they're flying,
right?
Yeah.
But with a 3D game with walls and collisions, it's a lot harder to do that. So I think, anyway, gameplay at 8 out of 10. I think they made a lot of really good decisions from a development standpoint and a game mechanic standpoint that allowed them to get the game out. And really, does it take away from the fun if the drones path through the door or not? Not really. From previous games that I've played, it makes me kind of go, huh. But at the same time, I can appreciate that they just wanted the game mechanic is the player interacting with the world, not the player interacting with their drones.
Absolutely.
So it becomes unimportant. Yeah. So music. What do you think of the music in this game?
I mean, it's space synthy. It's good, right? It's not winning any prizes. I don't dislike it, but it's pretty background. You know, I would give it a 6, 7, 7. We'll go 7. Because there were some moments, especially later in the game, which we didn't get to, but like when you discovered the abandoned city for the first time, right? They had that swell, that musical swell. So they hit really good high points, right?
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good enough. It wasn't amazing.
Yeah, I think the music on being kind of feels like it's on repeat all the time. Right?
Yeah,
like
they had 3 tracks.
There's 3 tracks. Yeah, there's not a lot going on with the music. I give it a 6 out of 10 just because it was too repetitive.
Fair.
And I've played nothing but this game for 30 hours for the last week.
You could hum the whole soundtrack.
Now, it's not repetitive in a way like earworm.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna haunt your dreams.
Yeah,
But it is like, I would have loved to have had some additional music. At this point, I'm just going to turn the music off to play, to be honest.
Well, I'll be honest. The last time I listened to the soundtrack was like forever ago, and I just remember some stingers. But for the most part, yeah, I have a playlist in the background. Like I put on Spotify or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have liked to have a little bit more fleshed out soundtrack, but I understand that even for myself, I don't know how to make sound. I am not a musician. I barely can play a piano or a guitar, like barely. If I'm for my video game, unless I'm willing to invest in paying someone else to make kind of an original score or some music for my game is probably not going to have a lot of music.
Yeah, 3 tracks on repeat.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah. So yeah, I think they did what they had to.
I think Paul Vanderhoven, the director of RoboCop, he said it best. A good movie is a good movie, but a good movie with a good soundtrack is an amazing movie.
Yeah, I agree. And we've talked about this. Well, the whole John Williams can save any movie with his music, right?
John Williams. Yeah. God, John Williams.
John Williams. Yeah.
He did not. He did not have to go that hard, but he did it for you and me, listeners. He did it for us.
But you know what? It's funny because I think of people like John Williams, and I think musicians and composers, and these were the original content creators before the internet existed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Creating musical scores and things. This was content before YouTube and TikTok and streaming video games on Twitch. Like, they were the OG content creators that were creating something super impactful and super meaningful.
Major, yeah.
You're never going to have somebody that's like, man, that Twitch stream was like Beethoven's Last Symphony. It was like, no, it'll never be that, right? So yeah, fun. How much fun do you have playing Planet
10.
Cover? Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10.
10.
It's a 10 out of 10.
It's a tenner.
It's a tenner. It's actually, I would say it's an 11 because it's so bloody addictive. But
well, here's the thing. After you're done, though.
Yeah, there's nothing left to do.
Yeah.
The replayability is definitely not there, other than just challenging yourself on a harder mode. But I think that challenge goes away pretty quick. Maybe I'll play hardcore next time.
There you go.
Yeah.
One life to live.
One life to live.
Though that'll really change your running for the doors as you black out gameplay.
Yeah, I probably won't do the run for the door as I black out. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to do because I understand the timing so well. Just because I've played it for the last week.
30 hours.
But if I'm playing hardcore mode, I'm not messing around. My gauge is like half empty. I'm going for oxygen.
going back for some oxygen. I'll pick up the other stuff later.
So what would you give it generally out of 10?
Out of 10, we're going to go with a solid 8.5.
8.5. Okay. I only gave it an 8 out of 10. I think for me, that's just because 9 out of 10 games are almost perfect games.
Almost
to me.
Perfect games.
An 8 out of 10 game for me is, it was better than good, and I enjoyed it. And I think an 8 out of 10 is good. 8.5 out of 10, it's like you kind of read me there. You're like, I'm not going to give it a 9 because it's not almost perfect.
It's not almost perfect. There are some glaring issues. I especially in like the physics and collision. I remember I saved up a bunch of stuff so I could build 2 rockets, right? And I didn't want to wait, so I built the first rocket, launched it, and then you can build the second rocket right away.
Yeah.
But it appears on the same launch pad, and the launch animation takes some time. So this first rocket that's going off suddenly, and then launched straight horizontally instead of vertically.
I had that happen to mine too. A tree grew like through the launch pad.
Yeah.
So like the rocket basically went to take off and it fell over and then like launched.
Right. Wow. And at the end of the day, the rocket still did its job. Like it didn't break or anything. It went into the sky. Even though it didn't go into the sky.
But you can tell a story about it because it was weird.
It was so weird.
Right?
But it's just, to me, that's sort of like, that's what I fondly refer to as slav jank.
Yeah.
It worked, but did it?
Yeah. Well, and I am building tree seeders too close to my base.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then I can't navigate around my base anymore. So like next playthrough, the tree seeders are going to be like way the heck gone.
Yeah. You're going to make a fort. You're going to make a forest way over there. Yeah.
But I was like, I want everything close to my base, like all close, all accessible. And that was a big mistake when it came to the trees.
Yeah.
So
you can do that with the grass eaters. And I'm not too sure about this, but once the grass eater is 100% to the area, you can remove it and move it to another location.
Can you?
Can't you?
I don't know, because every time I removed anything,
it
seemed to like remove the stuff that it had created.
Really? Okay. Well, that's a problem.
But yeah, I mean, eventually you get to the point where the planet has flora of its own.
Growing its
so
own
you
stuff,
don't really need the grass eaters anymore. Yeah, so Planet Crafter, great game. Check it out if you haven't. I'd love to see this game sell 1 million copies. I think it's phenomenally fun.
It's beautiful.
It's basically Space Subnautica, but slightly less beautiful. But the game mechanics
and less scary.
Yeah, but the game mechanics are substantially different. Whereas Subnautica is like survival story, Planet Crafter is less survival story and more survival progression.
Yeah.
Which really, I loved the progression loop of Planet Crafter more than I liked the progression loop for Subnautica.
I guess a really interesting way to look at it is like, in a lot of ways, it has idle clicker elements. Because once you build it, it just produces it. So, like a cookie clicker or something, and then it'll produce your whatever that unit is.
Please don't give people mobile game ideas.
No, God.
AFK Planet Crafter. No!
God. Mobile gamers. How do you guys, what do you want? Oof. But
I deleted my gacha game.
You finally deleted your gacha game? Good for you.
I just decided, I tried it. I'd never really done gacha games before. I tried it. I even spent like $40-$50 to just kind of like, maybe there's no value in spending money in the game.
No, you can get pictures. It's just pictures of anime girls.
You're buying gambling tickets. Well, even like for equipment, you're trying to get better equipment or something so you can rank up in the arena or whatever. It's not worth it because you're basically just getting gambling coupons and you could spend $20 and get nothing worth any value. So I think gacha games, I'm not into it. I'm out.
Far too predatory for me.
Yeah, I'm out.
But hey, let's talk about Raft.
Yeah, let's talk about the Raft.
Graphic and arts. The graphics for me are very cartoony, but they're well executed for all of that.
Yeah, I really have an appreciation for the 3D models and the designs that they used, the textures that they used, the quality of the details that they used in their art. So, like the baked potato after it's been baked, or how there's like little burn marks kind of on the cooking area. And I think they did a really good job with their artwork.
They did
even though the art style isn't really my jam. I think it was really well done.
Yeah, and it was consistent, which is super important. Everything looked like it belonged in the world.
The fact that the game loads up, though, at the lowest resolution available.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
I'm like, come on, guys, just patch your game. Make it go to your same resolution as your desktop.
Yeah, at least to native desktop.
Yeah.
That was odd to me.
That was odd.
But at the end of the day, that's just a toggle, right?
Yeah.
So for me, art on that guy was, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6 out of 10 again.
6 out of 10 for graphics and art.
Because it was beautiful, but it was very cartoony. Yeah.
I think I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's good enough.
7 out of 10.
I think that there's certain things that would get it above a 7 out of 10 for me. The animations are a little bit not great. Like the seagull animations are a little bit.
They're a little chunky.
Great. They're a little chunky.
Yeah.
I think overall it's good, but it's just. It's not super refined.
Yeah,
right?
No. And for a small indie studio, I'm not expecting you to drop an Unreal Engine 5 Starfield here.
No.
Right?
But for a smaller studio, I think the attention to detail in the art is where I'm giving them a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
I think it's quite good. It's enjoyable. It checks the boxes.
Checks boxes.
Yeah.
What about music?
Was there music in Craft?
Yes. But it's all very ambient wave. You eventually, we didn't get there, but you eventually can find like jukeboxes and stereos, and they'll play radio. But
yeah, I remember that.
It's not great. I will say this though: the audio cue of the shark attacking the raft.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, no, for all of that, no music, but really good design. I'm gonna give it a 5.
5 out of 10. Okay. For me, a 5 out of 10 is like you guys really need to do some improvement.
Is that okay?
But I think like anything below a 5 out of 10 it's just bad.
It's just bad.
I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It's definitely not good. It's not bad, but it's not good. I think there could be some Mariner music or something interesting in there. And I mean, unlock the jukebox. Maybe it's a little more fun, but I don't think the music adds much to the game. It's another one of those games I would turn the music off and I would just play with the audio.
Yeah. Your Spotify playlist or whatever.
Gameplay.
That's a solid 8 out of 10 for me, bud.
8 out of 10. So, yeah.
I love the loop, man.
Yeah, I think
your raft gets bigger and bigger and you unlock more things. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think the gameplay is pretty good. One of the only things I ever thought about when I originally started playing it is I wish there was more diversity in the junk that's floating in the ocean.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's fair.
That was about it. But, gameplay, you know what? I would give it a solid 8 out of 10 as well.
Hey, we agreed!
I gave Planet Crafter a 9 out of 10 just because the game mechanic and the progression mechanic is really nice.
It's a very unique, like, I've never played a game where it's like, okay, blue sky, okay.
Yeah.
You're liquid water, okay.
It's not often that the environment around you changes. There's a game called Eco that does something similar, but...
Right, but you're restoring... it's like a 2D kind of puzzle.
No, so this one was it's 3D. There's a meteor coming to destroy the planet. You have like stone tools, and you need to evolve your technology to the point where you can create a repulsor array and send the meteor the opposite direction. But if you chop down too many trees, the whole biome can just become a desert. If you kill too many animals, they'll go extinct. You have to balance your use of the environment with
your need to progress.
Your need to progress.
How interesting. That is an interesting mechanic.
It is cool. We'll have to play it sometime. But on accelerated, because I've played for about 40, 50 hours already, and I feel like I'm not progressing.
We'll tone it down, make it a little easier.
So fun. What did you think? Yeah.
This is an easy 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah?
It's almost perfect for fun.
Okay.
It can get a little grindy near the tail end when you're like, okay, I need to find a very specific resource. So you're hunting islands down to find that resource. But you also you should at that point have you're pretty self-sufficient. You're growing food, you're auto-collecting, like you're not concerned about resources now, or the basic resources, you're targeting a specific resource.
Yeah.
And that can be fun.
I
How
agree.
about you, my man? Sorry, he's on his phone right now.
Well,
And
yeah.
he's about to rate it.
I was like, I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb. It's my wife. So,
Oh.
yeah, the alerts come through for her, but not for anyone else. For fun, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I hate to admit to it, but I really enjoy games that are more graphically diverse. And I find that games like Subnautica, with their different biomes, had a lot of different beautiful things to look at and a lot of different art direction. I think that with Raft, the whole premise of I'm floating on water in the middle of nowhere is pretty boring.
Yeah, I can give you that.
They fixed that with the gameplay, for sure. But I feel like there's just not enough visually to make it super interesting. Hey, if you're a developer and you want to save some money, put it on an ocean and you don't have to build any real assets for structures or buildings or, I'd like to have seen more things like with the diving bell and wreck dives. And,
that'd be interesting.
Maybe going to old cities. Like that's what they did in Waterworld, right? They built like the big leather diving bell and they kind of took them down to look at all the cities and the skyscrapers that were all buried under the water there.
Yeah.
I think that there could have been more to it, but I'm also glad that they kept it simple and they know what they're trying to do and they're not trying to scope creep the heck out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that kills games faster than.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
That's a legitimate rank.
It's pretty good. It's pretty fun.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
For me, my general rating's an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
And that's just, this game was almost, not quite almost perfect, but there were elements of it that hit almost perfect, right? Not enough of them to generate an almost perfect game, but enough hit for me to say, without a doubt, it's a must play.
Yeah, and I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I just feel that Raft, I only played it for like 8 hours the first time. There's just not enough in the game to make me want to keep coming back, except for the fact that it's multiplayer. If Raft wasn't multiplayer, I probably would have never played it again. And I think that makes it hard for me to give it anything over a 7.5. It's a good game. It's better than just good enough. It's well thought out in its game mechanics and its gameplay, but it is really truly meant to be played multiplayer. I don't think you can have a lot of fun with Raft single player. You could do it for sure, but there's just nothing to look at. There's really nothing going on other than floating garbage.
Well, see, I regret this. I wish we had gotten a little bit further because eventually you start unlocking islands and
I've done a lot of islands myself in the previous playthroughs.
Cool.
And like the islands are fun. I just think that, island hopping, for the same reason I don't enjoy cruises. It's just
it's water, man.
Yeah, I think it's a great game. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think without the multiplayer aspect, I wouldn't want to play it.
You wouldn't want to play it. That's fair.
It's like Sea of Thieves. I mean, would you play that single player? Well, no, it's designed for multiplayer.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, you really can't do Sea of Thieves single player.
You really can't. You're going to die.
You're going to die. You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, unless from the best pirate I've ever seen.
Well, even then, because so much of Sea of Thieves is the ship. You got to handle the ship.
Yeah.
And you need it. My buddy and I we decided to use a brigantine as our vessel. And 2 people can just barely handle a brigantine.
Yeah.
And they have to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's fair. So a stamp of approval.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, Raft is a must play.
Yeah, I think Raft is a must play too. I think if you're into the survival genre, both Planet Crafter and Raft are definitely good games.
Oh, 100%. Planet Crafter there's no game like it right now. Like, where it's similar to every survival genre, yeah, it's not doing anything exciting.
Yeah.
But that idea of having to take this planet from a dead rock and making something out of it is just so cool to me.
Yeah, there's another game on Steam. So for me, when I was looking at buying Planet Crafter last week, I was looking at 2 games. One was Planet Crafter, and one was, I want to say, Terraformers.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Terraformers also mostly positive, procedurally generated survival sci-fi.
Yeah.
I bought both.
Oh?
Apparently.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, but I haven't played Terraformers yet.
Terraformers looks more like an RTS to me.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
looks like it's more RTS, more Civ style, which is weird because it says it's survival, but yeah, I'm willing to bet you I'm not going to like it that much.
Well, hey.
But we'll see. I bought
16
it,
days or 2 hours play.
Yes. You know what? Hey, as long as I can get 20 hours out of a game, I'm like, yeah, I got my money's worth. If I spent $79.99 on the game, I want to get at least 50 hours out of it.
Remember, the wonderful director of Ubisoft has told us we should get used to not actually owning our games.
Yeah, that's I'm not okay with that live service model.
Hate that idea.
I think that Ubisoft is going to be a company that goes out of business in the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, to that point, a lot of people, they're review bombing the shite out of the Ubisoft games right now.
Yeah.
And my favorite comment is, if we should get used to not owning our games, they should get used to being pirated.
Yeah, they should also get used to not being able to sell games because, I mean, here's the thing. We're both dead set against microtransactions.
I hate them.
I'm happy to pay a good amount for a game. Like if you can sell 1 million copies for $80, okay, that's $80 million in revenue.
Yeah. Cost you 25 to
cost
make
you
the
25 million to make the game. You're doing okay.
Yeah,
right.
That's good profit.
So hire a good team.
Yeah, that paid for the development. It's going to pay for the development of a new game, and it's going to pay for everything else.
Yeah, I think the live service model, always online games.
No.
I mean, we're seeing it now. How many games? What was it? The Animal Crossing game.
Oh yeah.
People's worlds are getting deleted because the servers are offline now, and they're shutting down servers. You're shutting down games. All of this content that we've played and created, and worlds we've created are being basically deleted.
Yeah, which is outrageous to me.
Yeah, and I think there's other games that are like, what was it? Hellgate London, right?
Don't get me started on Hellgate London.
After it was available for like a year.
I loved Hellgate London.
The company bought it out and shut it off and shut all the servers off.
Yep.
Stripped it.
And now
you can't play anymore.
I think Tencent or somebody bought the asset rights and they re-released it on Steam. So you can get it on Steam now.
Yeah.
But they released it in such a hacked down asset-lit version. Like, it looks like a game made in 1995.
Yeah, and I think I am never ever going to support a game, even like Blizzard. I'm not going to do Blizzard games anymore. I'm done with Blizzard games.
You're done with Blizzard.
Done with Blizzard games. It's either always online or it has to be connected online.
Yeah, no.
I'm just not into that anymore. I'm like, you know what? I want a game that 30 years from now, when I'm in my retirement home, I can boot it up and play it either with my friends through a local connection or single player. Yeah.
Last Epoch, for those of you looking for a good Diablo clone. Last Epoch is mwah, and it has a offline single player mode.
Yeah, games that don't have an offline mode. I get it. The exception for me is MMORPG. If you're playing an MMORPG, you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah,
you're signing up for a game that's going to die someday. All the loot and all the things and the tens of thousands of dollars you've spent on your account are just gone forever.
And that's you know what you're going into.
You know what you're getting into.
You're buying a subscription service.
You're
right?
buying a social life. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Social life.
An online social life. Yeah.
Well, to that extent, I play WoW a lot. Well, not a lot. I play twice a week. I'm in a raiding guild.
Yeah, cool.
So I raid log, except during expansions, because then you have to
And then you get 2 weeks where just no one hears from you.
Yeah, and then that's fine. Yeah, but I've met a lot of really cool people playing these games because I join guilds. I'm social on these, and if you're just logging on to not talk to anybody and just grind, you're better off not playing an MMO.
Yeah. No, I'm. That's why I like these indie games. Both Raft and Planet Crafter are from an indie team.
Yep.
They're not big studios, and Support your indie developers, guys.
Absolutely, because AAA is sucking the life out of the hobby, and while there are plenty of like amazing AAA titles, the exception they are the exception to the rule. For every Skyrim, and honestly, Skyrim wouldn't be good without the community.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Skyrim before any mods were available for it. Long before when it was just a disc collector's edition that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I enjoyed the story. I always enjoy Bethesda games. I know Starfield gets a lot of flack, and it it has its issues, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy the content.
They're releasing Range Rovers, so you'll be able to drive on the planets now.
Nice, till it pops up and says, you've driven too far and you have to turn around and go back to your ship again.
Yeah. But, probably.
I mean, hey, I've got 180 hours into Starfield. Like, I loved it. It was great.
Do I have any game where I've hit even 100? Like, gosh darn.
But Starfield too, it's a solid 8 out of 10 game. Like and I just finished giving Survival, Raft, and Planet Crafter 8 and 9s out of 10s. Starfield is a 8 out of 10 game. Like it's not great. It's better than good. They did a lot of things right, but there's a lot of room to improve. And I think that that's a fair rating. So yeah, anyway, support your indie developers, get out there, try Planet Crafter, try Raft. Better with friends, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these are better with friends, just period. The game I have the most playtime on is Final Fantasy XIV Online. I have 120 hours.
Oh, wow. I played a bit of Final Fantasy Online. I never got that deep into it, though. Let's see. Final Fantasy. I have Final Fantasy 14 Online. 24.2 hours.
There you go.
Yeah.
I played for roughly a day.
Yeah.
Ooh, my Satisfactory's close. I have 97 hours on the Satisfactory.
Oh, are we comparing?
No, we're not comparing Satisfactory hours.
Are we? Let's see.
Put that shit away.
Let's see.
Oh, wow. I have 111 hours on Civ 5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Let's see. If I sort by hours played, Stellaris is number 1, 515.6.
Is there a sort by hours played?
Yeah. In your library, you can do, under all games, do sort by hours played. I've got 515.6 hours in Stellaris, 443.9 hours in Avorion. Avorion is like a space survival game, but you play you're basically the ship. You're not a person. You build your own ship, kind of Lego blocks. It's cool. We should play Avorion someday. I'm gonna force you to play Avorion one of these days.
Done.
Against your will.
Against my will. Games and software, group by collection, group by library. Where's this button? I want to see.
Valheim 279 hours, Skyrim 259. Although I'm over 2,000 hours in Skyrim.
Not that important.
Let's see. Go to. Yeah, you're at home, right? Scroll down to all games and then sort by.
Oh, there you go.
Played hours played. There it is. Oh. So 415 hours Fallout 4.
Fallout 4.
Oh,
wow.
You actually definitely played more Fallout 4 than I did. I've only got 91 hours.
My New Vegas playthrough's at 217.
Boy,
damn.
So what's your top 5?
Top 5: Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, Secret World Legends, and Valheim.
And then Subnautica.
Subnautica, not too far behind Valheim.
Nice. My top 5 are Stellaris, Avorion, Valheim, Skyrim, Kerbal Space Program, and then the next best is Dragon Age.
Hey, which one?
Origins. Starfield is in 7th place. I've got 179 hours, followed by The Witcher 3 at 158.3. And then Space Engineers at 153 hours. That tells you what kind of games I play. A lot of RPGs, adventures, survivals. Factorio's 148. What's your Factorio at?
My Factorio, not nearly that much. My Factorio is 79.
Yeah, and I've got 146 hours in RimWorld.
Joish.
Yeah, 139.6 hours in Rust. That's how much Rust I used to play.
I didn't play a lot of Rust.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, that
was fun.
Coming to the close. Thank you all very much for coming with us on our special 10th episode.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back to our regular format next episode.
Yeah.
And Trevor always has a cunning thing to say at the end of our shows, which is...
Well, as always,
You blew it. You blew it. You had 2 jobs.
I just want to say thank you very much. Have fun and don't die.
Have fun and don't die, guys. See you next time.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
I like have fun and don't die.
It's a classic.
It's actually not mine. I borrowed it from a friend of mine who lives in Hungary.
Bye-bye. And that's our time and the end of our episode.
But don't feel sad it's over. Be glad it happened. From the 2 of us in the basement, thanks for tuning in.
Join us next time.
And feel free to send us any feedback on our socials or send us a direct email at bfcpcontact@gmail.com.
And if you're really interested in what we're doing, join us on Patreon, where we will have loads of behind-the-scenes stuff and uncut takes as more episodes are released.
We're always excited to hear from you because we love engagement. We look forward to our next catapult launch and hope you can join us for the ensuing chaos.
Good luck.
See you next time.
He said to blaze, which is to gamble. He loved...
Or it's to bluff. So he was playing cards, he bluffed, he lost.
Yeah. He said to blaze.
Liar! Ah.
Get back, witch. I'm not your witch. I'm a wife. I'm your wife.
But after what I heard, I don't even know if I want to be that anymore.
God, Man in Tights was so good.
Yes, that was Princess Bride.
Oh, that was Princess Bride. Sorry.
How dare. How dare you, sir?
I was getting my Carrie Elwes mixed up with my
Well, I mean, yes, he was in both of those.
with my Carrie Elwes. No.
Carrie Elves in Men in Tights versus Carrie Elves in The Princess Bride.
Was he in Men in Tights?
He was Robin Hood.
Was he Robin? I think he was, wasn't he?
He was Robin Hood.
Yeah, Carrie Elwes. What a great dude.
Yeah, I saw him at the Edmonton, or maybe it was Edmonton? The Edmonton Comic Convention. And apparently he absolutely is horrified of crowds.
Oh, yeah?
So
I saw it in Edmonton too. I was dressed as Deadpool.
Yeah, so he really nice guy. He had the lineup, but it was set up so he was kind of in a booth that was curtained off, so he didn't see the lineup.
Oh,
all right. He would just, people would come in. He'd say hi. He was a very generous person, very very kind.
As you wish.
And yeah, that was his thing.